Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if you're live yet. Hi to everyone who is watching. And if you're watching on recording, I am sure please leave the comments later on. If you're watching live, please feel free to add your chat inputs and questions, and we can answer them if we are able to take them today. So just before we start, just wanted to show you that we are a group on Facebook. We have Investing with a Difference. You can search it. It is public group. And then you can join our trading group by pressing join group on the page. And we have been very successful with the altcoin trading recently. So we have seen some good returns in last week, and every week I think our target is to make 20 to 30% returns. That is what we start with, and sometimes some trades don't work. So if you join our group, you can see the guidelines on how we define these, and it has been a great time. I think last few weeks have been very successful. So please let us know if you have any trouble. Leave your comments on the Facebook, on the YouTube channel, and we can help you join this community. As usual, we will start with the how we are doing on Bitcoin price. So today we are also going to look into intraday trading on Bitcoin. So that is something which I started recently, and the goal here is to see how we can benefit from big moves which are happening intraday. But before we do that, I think most of you, I'm assuming, are Bitcoiners. That means you hold Bitcoin as your core holding. I have been talking about these range and these support levels for some time now. It has been going as expected. Nothing much has changed. We are still not able to get out of 200-day moving average, and we are taking very good support on a 200-day exponential moving average. So this blue line is exponential moving average, 200-day, and red line is the 200-day moving average. And we are currently sandwiched between these two. And if you remember, last time we had fallen back from these important moving averages. So this will be interesting if we are able to break out of this. So that is as I originally expected. Now the 200-day moving average is moving very close to 10,000. So that is something which I would like to see before we break out, because that is a psychological mark as well. So again, going a little deeper, so you see these candles are huge. We had like a $1,000 moves for 2 days, and yesterday it was almost a $600 move. Today we are doing very similar, like kind of a zigzag pattern. So let me show you how you can really look at a setup in terms of how you play intraday and how do you really make gains. So this is a 5 minute or 15-minute chart. So I'm just showing you all my analysis. I've not deleted any of the older trend lines. So I've been looking at this for my futures trading. And this was the top around 9,750. And we fell very fast. It was a very steep trend line. We broke out of it and then again corrected. And then we had a pullback and then again fell very steep down all the way to 8,600. So this was the support level. If you remember, if you go back to the daily chart, this is where we had broken out of this and made a new high. And that's where it took support. And also this was the 200 moving exponential moving average. Now, this was again not a clear trading. So none of these were a setup for trade, even though there was a breakout, but it was a very shallow breakout because we knew that it was a very steep down curve and a pullback was always expected. Then we had another fall. So how do I look for these? So then I looked for another trend line here. And as you can see, we created another trend line. This time we hit 4 times. So this was a very strong trend line. And also it took kind of created a double bottom here. So this was a tradable entry, and you can trade here. Then we hit this double top again. So this was when it didn't cross this double top. You can take a small profit from 8,800 to 8,880. So even though it's like a 1% move, but on futures you can go all the way 100 times the leverage. So this was kind of a 100% move, and all you need to do is you have to take some percent out of it. But basically, what you need to look out for is once you have broken out, you see most big, and then we consolidate again, and then we moved up. This was not a setup because it was this particular trend line was only 2 points. So these are not strong trend lines. So once we did not breach this double top, I exited and then waited for another breakout. This I did not consider breakout, so because it was not a many like a trend line needs to have at least 3 points to be strong enough. So I didn't trade this. Then we are again consolidated, and now we breached this double top, and this was a good entry around 8,900 or 8,950. It was a good entry here, and then you can go and wait for this big move to pan out. Ultimately, it started consolidating, and at some point, uh, you look at the trend line forming here. It tried to breach 3 times. If you look closely, 1, 2, 3, and it actually broke out. So you can keep your trade on and take profit somewhere up here. But again, you don't know whether it will keep going up or you go down from here. So whatever entry you took around here, around this breakout, you can hold on to it with your stop loss around the same level where you looked at the breakout. And then again, we saw this trend line forming, which had 3 from the top. Again, this line is coming all the way from top, and there was this trend line was formed with 3 points, 2 here and 1 from the top. And then when it could not breach it, I looked at this double bottom. This was the line, and this was also a previous top in intermediate term, and this is where you exit. So this is how you can, or other way is to just take profits as you go along and wait for another entry. So this is how you can trade it. Now, this was a very good setup, which I just traded a few minutes or like a couple of hours back. So this was a big fall after we broke out of this. And if you see, this was another upward trending trend line, which was going all the way from here. And this breakdown happened, and this was a shorting opportunity. And I took a call, and then I waited for this confirmation of this double bottom to be broken, and this is where I entered. And then I took a quick $150 drop I was able to capture. And then we always know that this was the double top we had broken. So we take profit as soon as we come close to this double top and the place where we had broken out, and we took profit. We waited whether it takes support, and it seems it took support, and then I entered again. So now I am currently on the long trade on this particular chart. So these are some ideas. I think, of course, we always need to look at this as many of these trends when they didn't pan out all the time. You look at probabilities by adding more and more simpler indicators. A lot of people use very complicated indicators. I have been very successful with simple trend lines, double tops, and looking at the candlestick patterns. And this is working for me. Very, very simple analysis anybody can understand once you start looking at it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. This is something I wanted to share with you. Coming back to, I think, where we are on this trend, what we can look at, if you're not really intraday trading, then I would say currently it's a consolidation zone. Even though we are moving in $1,000 range, we should be seeing this as a good sign, and a lot of altcoins are actually moving up. If you're following our group, you have seen recently the EOS is making new highs. We have always been very positive, and we wanted to hold it all the time. We have seen GTO, that is Gifto, that has gone up almost 40%. So we are going to do another video on that, or why I always believed Gifto was going to go up, and it is again a hold for a long time. So this is current status. I'm still very, very careful about this 8,700 level, which is the support line, and then 8,500. So these two levels have to stay for us to break out. And for us to sustain this breakout, I would say we already have broken out. But I think on the upside, we still have strong resistance around 9,800, 10,000 area. And once we cross that, you can easily see us cross all the way up to 11,750. So that would be my next target if we break out of this 200-day moving average. So if you have any questions, I don't see anything till now on the YouTube channel. Please feel free to add anything on Bitcoin. Let's see. So I'm using my BitMax account for trading. So this is the interface. We will talk more about it in a separate video. Now going back to EOS. So there's one interesting tweet. I follow this guy. This is a person in Japan, and a Japanese guy who's tracking EOS. He has done a very interesting analysis of and the comparison with Ethereum. So this is on the left side is the Ethereum chart for last year and almost similar dates. And the right side, you're seeing the EOS chart for this year, that is 2018, and how it is almost tracking similar pattern and forming similar kind of breakout points. And till now, I've been tracking him for some time in this comparison, and this is actually playing out very nice. So this is something which he posted earlier, and now we just played it on how it is going. So we were looking for this kind of a move, but EOS is actually tracking higher. So if you look at it very closely, EOS is this was the gray line is what is the Ethereum projection, and EOS is actually running ahead of it. So of course, this is all speculation, and this is going to be like if we follow this all the way, EOS can go up to $30. I won't be surprised if that happens, but again, technical analysis. This is just a comparison. It's not even a technical analysis. It's a projection based on what is possible. And you need to understand when Ethereum exploded, the whole market was going up crazy last year. And even Bitcoin moved up from like $1,000 to $7,000 around this June, July time frame. And not really. And then later on in the year, it went all the way up to 20,000. So it can definitely happen. But what I would say is it all depends on how the market behaves. And if this really happens, then EOS valuation will be more than current overall market cap. So you have to put that in perspective, that it's not necessary that this is going to happen. All right, so we need to take questions. So there's a question from I'm seeing is that whether it's a good time to buy some BTC. I would like to buy some for do more trading. I would say if you are buying BTC around here today, around $9,000, yes, it is a good time because again, let me show you the smaller time frame chart. So we have had a pretty good correction from 9,800 to 8,800, 8,600 level. So around this area, we consolidated. So there is a lot of support which has formed. And today morning, it had again dropped from 9,300 to 9,000 area. So I would say around 9,000 area, you can buy small. If it falls to 8,700, I would say it has a very strong support. So this will be a good place to buy. But again, you need to be ready. So whenever we do analysis, we always say that you have to be ready for all possibilities. So 8,500, 8,700 is my support zone. Anywhere close to it is a good buy. And but if for a long term, I never say that you should not buy Bitcoin because it has a lot of potential, and it can if this breakout which we talked about is successful, then I think we should see all-time new highs very soon. So again, I think Darren had the same question. So as I said, around right now, if this support works, between 8,800 to 9,000 is not a bad area to buy more BTC. But if you are trading Bitcoin, so I would say you need to understand that you need to use your stops. If this is not for long term, and if you're buying just for the sake of going down, like to make profits in short term, then you need to watch out for 8,500 as a breakdown point and be ready. And as I talk about in the long-term plan, what we do in our group. So going back to our Facebook group, what we are doing is whatever price you buy Bitcoin, if you trade them for the altcoins and you're making like 10% short-term profits or a medium-term 100% profits, you're actually reducing your buy price of Bitcoin by just trading them in and out. And this is what we have been doing. So it's not like our model is working. If you see, this was a weekly scorecard. This is within 1 week we have made so many trades, which are like 10%, 18%. And then previous week we made a lot of trades. All these are actually you're growing your Bitcoin. and you can reduce your Bitcoin price by average 5 to 10% every week. And so even if you, so buying at the right point is a good thing, like if you are buying at a support level, but ultimately we are trying to grow them by trading altcoins. And other than some of the coins which we are holding for long term, our goal is to keep them, keep trading in and out of them, and reducing our Bitcoin entry price. So, but within, if you are looking for a still a good entry, I would say currently around $9,000 is a good entry. If you see, we have a lot of consolidation which has happened here between 8,700 and around 9,000. These were some spikes which we came down very quickly both times. So I think we are struggling to break out, but we are doing very good consolidation, and some decent volumes are coming in. So any other question, guys, let us know. So then I already talked about, I think, EOS, the potential. We have done many videos. We'll keep posting more and more videos on EOS. On Gifto, which is my second fundamental pick, I think I'm very excited. A lot of things are happening, actually. So let's go and say, like, the Gifto uh, website. While we are today here, let's talk about what all things are happening here. So in the press, there is nothing in the website. I think let me find out, and maybe I'll do a separate video. What I'm excited about is what they are doing recently is they are doing a lot of partnerships. So they are actually doing some events in Korea. They are showing the benefits of Gifto to, for example, in terms of an event happening and you're giving rewards or to people who are engaging with a particular site, then they are actually showing how digital token can be used. So right now I don't have that ready, but I think I'm pretty excited about what they're doing, and it has gone up very strongly. Let's have a look at Gifto chart. So if you see here on Binance, we are looking at pretty strong moves here in the last few days, and this is seeing a lot of strength. I would say we have pretty solid progress from the project perspective. They just launched a game which is going to be using digital tokens as rewards, and that is going to actually create a brand. So it's called Giftomon, and it's still in beta, but I think they're going in the right path. And again, it's consolidating. If you see this, this is a lot of organic buying happening. It's not a pump and dump. So you see a lot of coins moving very fast. And if you look at Gifto, so let me just expand this chart. It's going, even though it went up, then it's consolidating, and then it goes up again, and you don't see that same dump. The volumes on green candles is huge, and in this case, there was some follow-up selling. So if you see this zone, there were some red candles. But in this second move, which happened like yesterday night, we didn't even see any follow-up selling. So it was organic buying. People are not even selling into this strength, and they're not taking profits. So this is pretty good sign. Like there's a lot of people who are willing to hold Gifto, and I'm pretty excited about what's happening here in terms of the project itself. Any questions? Anything else you would like us to talk about? Please feel free to comment. And I think I'm liking the Bitcoin chart. I like the when it's we didn't want this to move too fast. So as I mentioned, when we had this back-to-back big candles that day, 3 days back, I had commented that we have gone too fast and we need to consolidate. And this is not a bad move. So I think if it consolidates, it also gives a chance for altcoins to catch up, and overall market cap keeps moving up, which is usually good for the market. So that is something which I'm looking for going forward. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Let's look at overall coin market cap and see how we are doing. So coin market cap has gone up to above $400 billion, which is good. We are now only 50% below what was the top level above $800 billion. And so this is good. I think overall market is recovering. Some of the stronger coins, as I talk about, EOS is our favorite, is doing much better than others. It's becoming a mixed movement recently. Like some of them are not able to retain. I'm disappointed with actually Ripple and Litecoin. If you see, both of them have been underperforming. Ripple I never liked. I have always been talking about in the group that it's not a great project. It's not actually a good. It's not even decentralized, and there's a lot of question marks. And SEC is also potentially looking into how Ripple is not really a digital token. So then Litecoin, I'm really wondering why it is underperforming, and I would like to see this recover because they have some interesting things going on. They made mistakes with LightPay. It was a disaster with their third-party provider who was executing on it. He was kind of ran away, and that is something which didn't work out. So that is, I would say, it should recover once the team gets together and make some progress. Looking at some other coins, I think we like Stellar. I have talked about Stellar earlier, and that is also something which should do well in longer run. Neo is another coin, I think, which is, if you look at this chart recently, it is struggling. I would see this as a buying opportunity. It's a good project. I'm not a great fan of Tron or IOTA, but I think Neo, Stellar, Litecoin are worth looking at if you are looking for wider portfolio. So I have a question here which says, what are the thing is a good amount of BTC to trade with alts? Okay, so yeah, I think that was one topic we wanted to talk about is portfolio management. So you can, I think I have talked about in the Facebook group. Let me show you a portfolio post where we talked about what should be your core portfolio looking like. So this is what we had. This was April 12th. We had posted. And we talked about keeping your core portfolio as like you should try to keep like 50%. I gave 55% allocation to Bitcoin and 10% to Ethereum. And at that point, when actually it was quoting at $4 EOS, I had given it 15%. Right now, with this going up 4 times, actually this has become pretty big part. It's almost become 40 to 50% of my portfolio, which I'm happy with because I really believe in this project. But if you're starting out, of course, I would say Bitcoin should be your core holding. And I think we need to do an update on this. I have not really updated the profit loss. I think we are doing much better than what it's shown here. This was April 12th snapshot. And I would say that we should be doing much, like, we should be doing this kind of allocation. And again, this is your core portfolio, which you should not do a lot of meddling with. And then it's about trading. I would say you should look for allocating a portfolio which you want to grow in BTC. So you can take something out of this 55%. For example, let's say your portfolio is, just to make it easy, let's say you have $100 portfolio and $55 Bitcoin is there. You can decide how much risk you want to take, and you can take maybe $10 worth of Bitcoin and trade, make it maybe grow, and keep putting the profits back into your core holdings. That is one strategy. The other strategy is if you think you want to be more aggressive, if you can take more risk, I would say you take more and more out of this Bitcoin and trade in a good market condition. So I always talk about like when we consolidated here or when we moved up. Again, during the consolidation periods, altcoins do better. During big moves up and down on Bitcoin, altcoins suffer. So if you can be very active, I would say you can usually do some kind of a change in allocation. You go back into Bitcoin when there are big moves happening. It's very difficult to always do that, but we talk about it in the group. I always hint at those things, and you can try those. But I would say it's better to keep some core holdings which you don't touch. You keep trading in and out of a smaller portion of Bitcoin. And again, it depends on your risk capabilities. I try to keep only 10 to 20% of my portfolio as a trading portfolio. And with the growth, like I have actually done 3 or 4 times my Bitcoin in last 3 months using those trades which we post on Facebook. I have actually made 100% returns in 2 weeks most of the times, because I do a lot of trades. I break down my trading portfolio. That is, let's say my trading part is one Bitcoin. I try to break it down into at least 10 trades at a time. So one Bitcoin, I break it down into 10 positions, that is zero point 0.1 each, and then I make altcoin trades so that I can do parallel trades. That reduces the probability of making a one bad trade. And as you can see from our performance previously, we have done pretty good in terms of uh, on an average. We usually make a lot of successful trades, and some of the trades don't work out. And if you do more and more trades, there's a very high probability that your average return will be much higher. On if you do at least 5 to 7 trades, I would say. But ideal is if you should have a capability to do 10 parallel trades. That is the best way to divide your portfolio, and that gives you this kind of a performance which we are looking at. And personally, I have been able to make my alts, like my Bitcoin, the trading portion of my Bitcoin, grow almost 100% 2 times, just by doing this 10 position at a time kind of a strategy. Any other questions? So I think this is some comments on portfolio management. I think, again, I would say maybe we need to do a little more discussion, and I can individually, you can ask questions on the group. But I would say that try and keep very clear idea on what is your core holding. So as I said, we talk about like the Gifto, EOS. These were some of the altcoins I handpicked to be core holding and not really trading in and out of them. Some others which I like for medium term are Ethereum Classic. I like Neo, Stellar, some of these. So again, Gifto has already become 10% of our holding from that day, because it has gone double or more. EOS has gone 4 times. It has become almost 50% of the portfolio. You can take profit, you can rebalance, but I just love these two projects. I don't do that. But overall, you need to define your risk take capabilities and how much you want to allocate. This is just a reference which we have given on our group. All right, guys. So I think if there are no other questions, I'll close this, and we will maybe get together again. Let's please send your feedback, subscribe to our channel for these live videos. And if you have any other questions, let us know on either Facebook page or on the YouTube channel itself. Thanks for joining. Bye bye for now.